Do you know the worst thing about being alone? People tend to easily tolerate the toxic relationships with the very few people they have in their life. So they start tolerating the red flags, they see the red flags, but because they feel so alone, they hold on to the relationships that they clearly know that they've outgrown. That's really I think the saddest part about being lonely and feeling alone. And I feel like outgrowing relationships um, also like leads to feeling alone because most of the time you tend to, like outgrow the people that you had a very like intimate and close relationship with. And so when you achieve something, you have no one to celebrate your success with. I have had, you know, some amazing achievements over the last few years, and uh, it's on those nights when I achieve something and I just have no one to share it with. Like I have no one to tell, I have no one to, like just enjoy my success with, because everyone that I know, if I tell them, they won't even understand how much it means to me, because we're just in, like different lanes of life. And sometimes it feels like you're bragging when, you know, you share it with them and all those things. So I have gotten to, it got to a point where I started realizing that I was only holding on to the friendships with people I knew, like in high school, only because I didn't have any new friends. I didn't have anybody that I really connected with. I think that's the problem with growing up. When you're a teenager, when you're in high school, you really don't understand just how easy it is to form an everlasting friendship, not until you're an adult and realize just how hard it is to, like find somebody you can connect with, just finding a true friend. That's just something that's really hard. The harder you grow, like the older you grow. It's so easy to know if people, start envying you or they start becoming jealous of the things that you're doing. I started noticing my friends, making slick comments about the things that I usually talked about, because most of the time when we're talking on phone, just listen. I had nothing to talk about. I mean, I had things to talk about, but my experiences are different now. Like I've got different experiences now. I know that some of the things that I do now are things that my friends and I used to like imagine, like the things that we used to dream about. But I'm in a different country now. And the only communication we have is over the phone. I remember when I was dating this girl, gorgeous girl, like very nice, and uh, I told my friends about her as usual. And then when we broke up, the first things my friend says, finally, you know, finally. I was like really broken that we broke up. And then somebody just says, finally it has happened. We're now both single, like all those comments. It's like, what? I just cut the phone because I really couldn't understand, I really couldn't understand how, somebody would say that in your moment of, like despair and vulnerability, so to say. I started noticing all the slick, like little comments they make, all those things, and I realized that the only reason why I'm friends with these people now is because I kind of feel lonely. I really do not have anybody apart from, because we used to like have good relationships, like our bonds were very good, like, but accepting the fact that things aren't the same anymore is really hard. But I just realized that as you are going, as you are going up in life, as you're climbing the ladder of success, you are going to outgrow most of the relationships with the people that mean to you, like mean the most to you. So with that said, I realize that I just have to accept the fact that it's just a part of the journey. Just being lonely is part of the journey, and there's nothing I can do except for just embracing it and just growing as a person in terms of learning how to form new relationships with new people. Because if you're seated in a room and you're the biggest, you're the most intellectually developed person, then you're seated in a wrong room, because you always have to sit in a room where you have things you can learn from someone. And that always mean like it always means that you always have to outgrow some relationships in your life. So the biggest takeaway from this video should be that you do not need to tolerate the toxic relationships with anyone, no matter how much they meant to you at some point, no matter how lonely you get to feel. You do not need to tolerate anything just because you're lonely, just because you just want to have somebody in your life. I think loneliness is something that each one of us has to go through if you're, doing something right, I guess. But